Ahoy! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 114th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. And hello, we're here. Good evening. Welcome. Sorry I was not here last night. We had a lot of running to do yesterday, and I had a lot of stuff I was doing and a couple meetings to attend, a couple different things. We've had a lot going on, and so I got out of the Madison County meeting last night. It was like a 3-hour meeting. Of course, we knew going into the meeting that it was going to be long. They had like a 65-page agenda, and you've got seven blind like chimpanzees on the board, like looking for a banana, and there's no banana to find. And so they, like a lot of other boards, are currently going through the process of re-electing their leadership and doing whatever. And I'll tell you, that first president sat down, President Steele, Counselor Steele, he sat down and he said, I tell you what, I couldn't have dealt with that guy. I'm glad I wasn't there, and I'm glad I wasn't involved last year, because I would have blown a gasket. I would have said, hey, speak up, because nobody can hear that stupid-ass whisper you're doing. I was blown away. Ben Gale's pretty much an idiot too, but at least he can enunciate and speak loud to where people in the back can hear him. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. We're going to be talking about several different areas. But before we get into all of that, thank you for joining us here on the program. I want you guys to hear this real quick. This keeps happening to me. Tell me what you think this is. Let's listen. This is an incoming phone call really quick, live. We're going to listen to this real quick. I want you guys to listen to this.
An inmate at the Delaware County Jail, Indiana, carried by Combined Public Communications. Three-way or call waiting is not allowed and may automatically disconnect this call. This call is subject to monitoring and recording. If you are an attorney or designated legal counsel, contact inmatesales.com at 702-931-3938 to have your number set to do not record. Please select from the following options if you consent to this call being recorded, and to accept this call. We are sorry, but your prepaid account balance is not sufficient to allow collect calling from this facility. Please contact customer service at 866-97-5578.
I about think it's a scam. I don't know anybody currently in the Delaware County Jail. If it was another jail, I kind of thought maybe someone might be trying to call to get their ass chewing from me, but no, that's not happened yet. So I don't know. We'll talk about that here in a little bit too. Sorry that we just went into that a little bit, but I wanted you guys to hear. I was actually on my way back from Madison County last night, and I got that same phone call like at this exact same time. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? So I don't know if they've got the wrong number. Listen, my number is out there. Listen to me. My number is out there in so many places. People sign me up for the most ludicrous crap. I was driving to Dallas, Texas in 2019 from Houston, Texas, and I got a call from the Scientologist in Chicago that someone had called and signed me up, said I wanted all this information. The guy knew all kinds of information about me, and I knew that it was a political, like someone that I didn't like, because the people of Muncie at the time didn't want to believe. Maybe someone needs a pillow. They didn't want to believe that I was moving back. I would live back in Muncie, and they gave my address in Winchester. And so I was like, no, you idiots. I mean, I instantly knew. I had it down to about 3 people, but like I was talking to the people, and Like we went on for I talked to him for like my entire drive from Houston to Dallas. It was great. All right, let's get back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to get into. But before we get into all of that, first of all, I'm going to give you guys an agenda so you guys know what we're talking about, and you'll know where we're talking, what we're talking about, and all of that. So just FYI, we're going to be talking about Henry County. We're going to be talking about Sproles, the situation that's going on currently in Henry County, which is just absolutely unbelievable. If you are a tax-paying citizen of Henry County, grab both of your butt cheeks and hold on, because you're getting ready to be taken for a ride, folks. Okay. Number two, then we're going to talk about Madison County. They had their first meeting of the 2024 year. We're going to tease that a little bit because we're going to have a special show this coming Friday. We normally don't have shows on Friday. We're going to be talking about that on Friday the 12th. So we'll have a special Friday show, and it's going to be special. We're going to have some special guests. So we're going to tease that. Then we're going to talk about the city of Muncie. I know everybody's still just completely reeling from the crack up that Councilor Rose Selvey had. She just completely had a crack up on Monday. But we got to get past that, and we got to move on to the Board of Works meeting. It's just a quick meeting. It's 8 minutes, and then we're going to talk about the mayor's update and all that. We're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to end by talking about the tax abatement meeting, and we're going to end with all of that. Before we get into all of that, though, I do want to make sure everyone out there in the world, specifically in Indiana, knows today's date, if you're watching this live, is January 10th, 2024. It's what time is it? 9:12 p.m. on January 10th, 2024, 9 p.m. Eastern. That means the filing period officially opened today. The filing period opened today. So if you're interested in running for office, or if you know someone that is interested in running for office, the clerk's offices are all closed now, but they can file to run for office Monday through Friday, any business day of the week, in the county clerk's office of the county in which you live. It has to be the county clerk's office, not the town or city clerk, the county clerk's office. They can file there to run for office if they're going to run on the local county level. If they want to run for state office, if they want to run for state representative, if they want to run for state senator, they can do that at the state house. And if anybody wants or needs help with paperwork, wants to look over, you can contact us here at the Political Spotlight. We will help you with that. And we're going to be very critical of paperwork this year because they were last year and it resulted in nonsense. And although I don't really believe in it, we're going to teach them a lesson this year. So we want to make sure everybody's good. So if you need help with that paperwork, you can email us there at the Political Spotlight email, which is TPS program at gmail.com. The filing period is open now today, and it will be open until the deadline at 12 p.m. noon on Friday, February 9th, 2024. So that's that. Okay, moving on to the agenda. I do want to give a quick, brief update on Mr. Joshua Kimbrell. I hate saying the name now. It's just an absolute disgrace what's happened here. Horrible situation. I honestly don't like talking about it and cannot wait until this is all over and we can move on from this horrible nightmare. and just continue giving our thoughts and prayers to the family and those that need it in this situation. He had court yesterday. And there were a couple people have asked me if I could look into getting the footage of Mr. Kimbrell turning himself in. And I want to say this. I have put that request in, but I am not going to do anything with it until I talk with his family. And I believe when I mean his family, I specifically mean his wife. When I talk with his wife, I strongly believe that she will be okay with me showing that footage. It won't show much. It'll just show him walking in and turning himself in. He'll walk in and they'll take him in the back, and then we won't get to see anything else. But I'm not going to do that until I talk with his wife. A lot of people say, but wait, but that's something Josh would have done. It might be. I am not Josh. That's part of the reason we broke up, went separate ways back in August and did things. There was a difference of how we do things here. I'm not a crime reporter. I'm talking about this because it's a thing. Other than that, I don't have any interest in this. He is horrible. It's a horrible situation. And unfortunately, and most disgustingly, after telling his victims and after telling his wife and after telling the police that he knew he did wrong, and after confessing to these crimes, after telling the prosecutor's office and the judge and everyone else involved that he was going to plead guilty, that pedophile walked into the courtroom yesterday and he pled not guilty. I can only hope that he's doing that solely so an attorney can review that and then they can alter the plea, because he has like a period of days that he can alter the plea. I'm hoping that he's not somehow still going to try to fight this and try to do the whole Josh thing. I can only say if he does that, the prosecutor's office, the victims, what they've got going, they will decimate him in court. They will decimate him in court. So that's the only thing that I can say there. And moving on from there, I also just briefly on the other one want to say, and the other one being his friend Lewis Galligan, we were wrong. He did not bond out of jail on a $70,000 bond. He didn't pay $7,000 for the $70,000. It was less than that. He paid $4,000 for a $40,000 bond. Now the court has issued a court date for that, stating that there is a court date to review the bond. I also want to make clear that Josh has now been officially charged with more crimes. There were additionally 2 or 3 other charges added to his to Josh's list of charges. And in reading those charges, Josh is looking at well over 40 years in prison. So, you know, he's looking at, he's 30 years old. He's basically looking at, if everything goes as I think it's going to go, he's basically looking at the rest of his life in prison. You know, it is what it is. So, okay, enough of that. We are now going into this episode. This episode is episode 114. Josh can't run. Josh is in jail. As far as Lewis Galligan, he's probably already in Europe, and we may or may not ever see him again. And you know what? That would be just fine with me too. Whatever. They'll get him over there, and he'll do something over there because he cannot stay out of trouble. Okay. So, all right, this episode is episode 114. The title of this episode is Elected Loose Cannon Officials Create Liabilities. We see here Sheriff Sproles is ready to be shot out of this cannon, and I think I really did some good work with the artwork there. He's saying, for my next trick, watch me blame everyone else. We've got 4 of the 7 members of the Madison County Council over here saying, you can do it, we're dumb too. And they're probably the most egregious, in my opinion. Some of the most egregious. There's others, but these are some of the idiots of the Madison County Council. And then we've got Rose Selvey down here saying something, spend money. So it's just a nice little mixture of bizarro council members. We've also got this to start it off. John Mark Sproles, Henry County, Indiana Sheriff, is such a loose cannon and liability. The county's insurance company, Travelers Insurance, is dropping them mid-contract. Okay. I cannot believe this. So this is where we're going to start. Then we're going to go to Madison County, and then Muncie, and then the tax abatement meeting. Folks, I can't comprehend what I cannot comprehend what is going on in Henry County. I'm shocked at how crazy everything in Henry County is right now. But I am glad that more people in Henry County are now starting to wake up and see that Sproles is a complete idiot as well. Now, we have that audio and the video, and I want to show you guys this. Stand by here as we're going to show you this. And I know a lot of people normally gripe that the sound is low, so I did something a little extra for you folks today, and I boosted this sound, and it might possibly blow your eardrums out. So please bear with me. Let me know how the sound is on this. Okay. It could quite possibly be crazy loud. So just let me know. If the sound is good, give me a 1. And if the sound is bad, give me a 2. So here we go. All right. Let me get over here and we'll watch what goes on here with Sproles.
Yeah, I wish I was here with better news. As the commissioners know, and also Joel, we got contacted by Travelers, who handles basically all of our property and casualty insurance except our workers' comp. A few weeks ago.
And just FYI, this is a Henry County Commissioners meeting. that took place today, Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, Henry County, Indiana Commissioners meeting. The three commissioners right here in the middle of the screen are from left to right, my left to right, Joel Wiley, Republican, Steve Dellinger in the middle, Republican, and Bobby Plummer, Republican. The man over here is Joel Harvey. He is the county attorney. And the man at the podium, his name is Josh Estel. I think it's Josh Estel. His last name is Estel. I'll say that. He is an insurance guy, and he is here at the podium telling the county commissioners and the public some bad news about their insurance. So that's who we have here. And so you guys are aware, this man here, Joel Wiley, is a retired state trooper, and he is a friendly friendo of Sheriff Sproles. The other two commissioners, I think, are kind of tired of Sproles' crap. Now, listen to you heard Estel say, I wish I was here on better news. Listen to the horrible news he drops on them, and make sure you're listening very closely to each word that he says.
Letting us know that they wanted to cancel the policies mid-contract, which is somewhat unprecedented. It doesn't happen very often.
Somewhat unprecedented.
I worked and elevated this to the point where I actually was on a phone call with the CEO of Travelers, believe it or not, which is about like getting the president of the United States on the phone. And this decision to cancel our policies 3/1, so March 1st, is going to stand. I obviously reached out to you and Joel and the sheriff's department in advance because we are in unequivocally the worst insurance market in the history of our country. And so placing insurance is difficult, and placing it in a short period of time is more difficult. So we didn't want to waste any time, even though there wasn't a commissioners meeting for a week or two in kind of getting started. As you know, Bobby, we had a meeting with Joel and you and I and John to give them a heads up that.
So what he just said there, Estel just said, we had a meeting with me and you, Bobby and Joel and John. And when he means John, he's talking about the sheriff. They had a meeting to inform basically the sheriff of why this was happening. All right. We're getting ready to hear this now.
The crux of the cancellation surrounded a couple claims involving the sheriff and Travelers' perception as to what may be underlying in those issues. And so, not only do we need to let everybody know, we needed to begin the process of getting applications filled out for other carriers, which Josh has been fantastic helping gather that information. As have you, obviously, have spent a lot of time on it too. But it's super important that we try to put our best foot forward in the very best face on some of the things that have happened. And
now pause, because a little of this you're going to have to read in between you're going to have to read in between the lines. And I want to pause right quick here because Doug Brewer's got a question, and it's very important. And this is another issue I had with Joshua Kimbrell. Joshua Kimbrell was not involved in any lawsuits. Joshua Kimbrell never filed any lawsuits on anybody at any point at any time. I was illegally arrested in November of 2017 for speaking in a Winchester City Council meeting. I filed a First Amendment lawsuit, a federal First Amendment rights lawsuit, and we settled out of court. In my opinion, we won, and that's that. I filed a second federal lawsuit in 2019 against the city of Muncie and others, and there's a non-disclosure in that agreement, so we cannot say any more about that. Josh Kimbrell never filed any lawsuits. So my lawsuit against Sproles for the First Amendment has nothing to do with Joshua, and nothing I've been involved in, nothing that Kate is involved in, nothing that Brandon is involved in has anything to do with Josh Kimbrell. To be very, very clear, there are a couple of crazy, perverted freaks running around who apparently get the jollies in the fact that juvenile children are victimized, trying to spike a political football, trying to make some point that how we were tied to Josh, so I have to be a pedophile myself. And that's just, if people want to think that way, it shows how broken they are as individuals and how gross they are. But that's got nothing to do. Nothing of mine, Kate's, or Brando's has anything to do with Josh Kimbrell. Our businesses are all separated. There's nothing there. So that's the number one thing. Those kids are protected from Josh. Josh is locked up, and that is that. Number one, this is what Joshua Essel just said there, was that this has happened because of a couple different things, several different things dealing with the sheriff's department. Something that's very important, was because I see that the city of Muncie has commented here. This is very interesting. How kind of you. All right, onward ho. So here's the deal. This is very, 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 very important. This is very important. Estel just said, if we have a company coming here that we are courting that might be looking to address us, we need to put our best foot forward. We need to put our best face on and be a team. And I completely believe that he is directly talking to John Sproles when he says that, because of course the three commissioners are going to be on their best behavior, but it's Sproles who has this issue thinking that he was born with 15 mouths and they must all be opened at the same time. That's not true. You're born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen more than you talk. Sproles does not know that. Sproles wants to blather off at the mouth and just go and go and go and go and go. And so Estel, who's like, probably like, oh my God, I'm between a rock and a hard place here. I'm talking to the commissioners. We're losing this situation. It's bad for everybody. He is a citizen of Henry County, so it sucks for him too. He's obviously a taxpayer. And you've got Sproles back here who wants to litigate this on a council in the commissioners meeting. So it's just completely insane. All right, so we'll move on. Just listen to what he says from here about the reason why this happened. He's getting ready to say it.
And there's, less than 10 carriers in the state of Indiana that will write law enforcement liability, or a county. Probably less than 5 that would write all lines. So we are working diligently every day. I've had probably 10 phone calls with carriers, obviously meeting with you, Sheriff's Department, gathering this information, working with Joel on some other things, trying to put this together and try to make sure that we have coverage come March the 1st. So felt that it was appropriate to at least come in a public meeting and recognize what is going on so that everybody knows. And happy to answer any questions. As I will say, as it relates to the claims, because some of them are ongoing in litigation or other, like if you ask questions about anything specific, we're not going to answer those. We can't. But happy to answer any questions about the process or anything along those lines.
I have a couple. The liability part, the entire county still has the insurance with the exception of, as of March 1st, the sheriff's department, correct?
Well, so Travelers the renewal is July 15th. My anticipation would be that Travelers would cancel the entire policy July 15th. The state law basically says that to cancel a policy midterm, there has to be material and unforeseen change in exposure with the insured. I mean, I don't want to get into that now. I mean, Joel and I are having conversations about that and the merit of whether this really can be done. But the lines that they are claiming that they have changed, their reasoning for canceling was basically dramatic change in risk management procedures with the sheriff's department. So, I mean, even though I think they're on thin ice anyway, they're definitely not going to move on the lines like the property and equipment that are not really under the purview of that claim. So we're talking law enforcement liability, auto, and umbrella for the whole county.
Listen to that.
So, I mean, it's all together. It's
Auto for the whole county?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
misunderstood that.
I mean, the reason that I don't think it really matters is because that line is not going to be hard to place. I mean, and we're probably going to find a carrier. My hope is to do all of this together and we'll move it all anyway. So, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, the worst case scenario, I guess, would be that we find a standalone law enforcement liability market and then we go find somebody else to do a standalone auto policy. That won't be a problem to do that. That's not the ideal scenario. And I think we have a better chance to get someone to look at this as a whole. I think we have a good case put together, and I've had good conversations with some carriers. As you know, we have a meeting Monday with a carrier that's coming to visit. We have another carrier. So, I mean, when you get to the point where they're willing to come out and visit, they're at least serious enough that they want to take a look at these things. But we certainly need to have everyone on board, making Henry County look like a risk that an insurance company wants to take on.
So you're anticipating that July 15th, no matter what?
We need to get everyone on board so we look like a county that an insurance company would be willing to take on. Now, in just a few moments, you're going to see because Sproles is in this room right now listening to this. Sproles is listening to everything this man is saying. And you're going to hear, like, Sproles apparently was on his phone. He had his thumb up his butt and in his ears. I don't know what he was doing, but he was not listening to a word that Estel just said. And it's absolutely gross. It's gross that there is an elected man that's carrying a gun, that's got handcuffs, that can take your life, that can take your freedom, that doesn't care about the laws. He's willing to pull people over illegally and do crazy things. And he's just running around and he's like the boss of bosses there. I mean, he's like the bad boss at the end of the game. And it's real scary. It's real scary how out of control he is. Let's listen to this.
Travelers probably will not renew.
Yeah, my hope
Is that your anticipation?
My hope is we'll move the whole thing
We'll move
3-1 to somebody else, and we'll just cancel the Travelers altogether. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think this is going to do to our deductible range?
Well,
what do you think this is going to do to our deductible range? And here, if you're a taxpayer of Henry County, folks, this is where you're getting ready to be like, hey, could I please get some Vaseline at least? Listen to this.
I would say that the law enforcement deductible was likely to go up some in July.
It was going to go up
I
some.
would say in the short run that we will probably be looking at somewhat high. I mean, it would not surprise me if We have a $25,000 deductible right now on law. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't land at 100. I mean,
right now it's a $25,000 deductible. And because of this little Sproles up, it's like a mess up. It's now a Sproles up. Because of this little Sproles up, it's going to now go from $25,000 deductible to $100,000 deductible.
But I don't definitively know that. I can just tell you that
maybe go worse or higher.
when we were with One Beacon, and One Beacon decided to pull out of law enforcement altogether as a company, we entertained the idea as an option of writing the law enforcement separate on its own and keeping everything with One Beacon. We also obviously at the time went to Travelers and Liberty and all the other companies. The best at that time, 2 or 3 years ago, and I would say the law enforcement market has probably deteriorated since then. The lowest deductible even in the market on a standalone law was 100. So I'm just, as a frame of reference, like, I would be very surprised.
Hey, Larry, yes, it was good meeting you. And here in just a few moments, we're going to be talking about your county, just FYI. And we're going to be doing a full show about Madison County on Friday as well.
If we get a $25,000 law deductible, what I would say, and I think what I've already heard from carriers, is if we can get through this little storm and we have good experience for the next year or two, it's definitely not out of the question that we can't improve terms on the policy. And I hope we are fine 3-1. I mean, a couple of the carriers don't seem totally spooked by, what they are seeing on the loss runs. But there's still quite a ways to go with.
A couple don't seem so spooked, which means he talked to a couple that probably were like, hell no.
Visits and other things. I mean, I will tell you that if this was 3 years ago, I would probably retire, because if we had the old jail, we would probably have zero chance of placing this. So, I mean, that is.
Listen to what he just said there. And no one made a big deal about that earlier. No one made a big deal about this earlier. And I want to make sure that we really seep that through. Because Sproles happened to be elected in 2022, and it was 2023 when when did he take? Yeah, 2023, he took office. Because of that, because it wasn't just a couple years ago, the county's in a little bit better spot. Because if this was just 2 or 3 years ago, the county wouldn't get insured, and then I don't know what would happen. Number two, I don't know. If you just heard what Estel said, I would probably just retire. Like, he'd leave that part of the county, because he's like, I'm done with this. You know what I mean? And that's very big, because let's talk about this. Well, it's not the jail that caused the liability, but what he's saying is, because they have a new jail, they are a little bit better. If everything that Sproles would have done, plus having the old jail, they would be uninsurable. So why I'm bringing that up is, what else is going on out there in the world that we don't know about, that if Sproles just crosses the line a number of times, it could really screw up the entire county. I heard someone say today, why does he not park his butt behind the desk in his office and do administrative work and stop playing cop? He's only been on the department for 4 years. He's not a well-trained law enforcement officer. He has no idea about what leadership is. He has no idea about what law enforcement is. He is like a rookie. He's an FNG. He has no business doing what he's doing.
But Kristopher,
very
he
scary.
was elected. He has a
know.
mandate now. And
Yeah.
none of the things that you're talking about
Yes.
apply to him. He is
Yeah.
above that. He is special.
Yes,
His ego's
yes.
getting in the way. There you go. Alicia's got it.
All right. Let's talk about real quick that mandate that he has. That mandate where a little under like 9,000 people voted for him, and if you subtract out also the people that voted for his opponent, so like he only beat his opponent by actuality like 4,000 or 5,000 some votes. But the mandate is the 42,000 people in the county that did not vote for him. The 42,000 people that did not vote for him, that's the mandate.
Are you
Didn't they
on
have-
screen?
Yeah. Didn't they have someone get murdered in the old jail, and they didn't even have to cancel their insurance when that happened? And think about that. Someone actually was killed in the old jail, and they didn't lose their insurance with that. You got to think about what's happening. And we've not even heard the big drop yet. We're getting ready to hear the big drop. It's still coming, but I do want to come back here real quick to someone's comment. I don't know where it went. I wonder if Boss Hogg will cover any of this, or if they're still on the Sproles train. Oh, I'm sure they're still on the Sproles train. I want to know when it's going to appear in the Courier Times. I want to know when it'll be on Boss Hogg. They might be talking about purple ketchup. I don't know. We'll see. We can't don't pin them down too much. Isn't it racing season about here? We'll have to see. The biggest thing, though, is that people in Henry County know about this, because this is big stuff.
Is a huge item that we don't have to overcome. Is that right off the bat, like new jail is okay. Let's check that box. We're past that kind of first hurdle. So we have some good things going for us. We just got to work through some of the challenges.
All the items that are under litigation now will still stay with Travelers, right?
That's correct. And I mean, so the different, some of the lines of insurance we had are what's called occurrence forms, and the policy that's going to respond to that claim when it comes is the policy that was in force at the time of the occurrence, regardless of when it was brought. So like on the general liability, law enforcement liability, something that happens today and the suit doesn't come for a year is still going to go back to Travelers. But like the public officials is what's called a claims made policy. And that is the policy that is in force at the time the claim is made, is the one that responds. Yes. So it depends on what happens. Like Travelers in theory could a year from now be on the hook for claims that come in as long as the occurrence happened prior to 3/1. So depending on what happens, we could get claims later in the year where some are Travelers, some are whoever the new carrier is.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you, Josh.
Josh, thank you.
Yeah, if you guys have other questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue to work with you and your team and hopefully get this out the market this week. So.
I should have all of my stuff completed by end of day today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, before we launch into the next thing, I want you guys to be aware that this is happening, folks. It's very important that we understand that they are saying that this has happened. This has happened because there was a dramatic change in risk management procedures with the sheriff's department. That is insane. All right. Now, the sheriff is getting ready to talk here in a moment.
Say it again. I don't think this is the opportunity. I think what we've got.
He wants to get up and he's basically saying, do I get to address any of that? And they're telling him no, because they know, ding, 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 he's a liability.
Right now is we're going to have to wait. I think.
Joel.
Yeah, I would advise not to address any specific claims. That'd be my advice. Yeah, if you want to make some general comments, I think that's probably okay, but just try to avoid addressing any specific claim or threatened claim.
Yeah, no, I don't want to address any specific claims. I do want to talk about the liability has been something that I have talked about from the very first. Liability is a great concern of mine, and we have taken very serious steps to limit our liabilities. Starting with January the 1st of 2023, we eliminated special deputy powers to well over 60.
John, could you move the mic? They're saying they can't hear you.
Yep, sorry.
Please. And make sure it's turned on, that it's green.
It's green. Yes, it's green. So January 1st, 2023, we eliminated special deputy powers to over 50 individuals.
So 50 individuals floating around out here doing work, having the special deputy badge or whatever, all right, good, bad, whatever. They had never caused the county to have their insurance dropped before. There's no allegation that any of them have caused this, but yet he's wanting to say, well, we were taking care of liability way back in January 2023. I got rid of all these 50 guys that never did anything. All right. Strike one.
That had full police powers, full arrest powers, 24/7 under the umbrella of the Henry County Sheriff's Office. They were simply, most of these people were utilizing these powers to work security jobs for their income. And that is a massive amount of liability that we eliminated right off the bat. That was not.
He also didn't limit that because of liability reasons. If you go back and you watch his very first appearance on the Boss Hogs of Liberty podcast, he told them ahead of time why he wanted to eliminate all of those guys and why he wanted to go after small town reserves and why he wanted to shut all of that down. And it wasn't because of safety. It wasn't because people out here looking people up, doing all that stuff. It was because they are the ones that are doing the extra security, going down and working the Colts games and working on the highway and getting paid $30 an hour. And he said he did not feel like that was right because his guys that are full-time, that are out there on the line, putting their life on the line, and I'm not saying they don't. I do agree, and I'm happy for them. But he said that they should get first dibs at the jobs, and they're not getting first dibs because they're having to work their real job, and these other guys are reserves or special deputies, and so they don't. So they eat them all up. And he wanted to take care of that because if anybody was going to get paid the money, it was going to be his guys first. So this was always a money issue. It was an ego issue, and it came out of his mouth way back when he was a candidate. It was not a liability issue. So that's you're lying. You're lying, Johnny.
Not an easy, that was not an easy thing to do. We took a lot of heat over that. And we are getting ready to eliminate some more special deputy powers. I have a letter written that will be delivered today to the security officers at Henry County Hospital. I have no idea why that.
This is also something very big, folks. This is a totally separate thing than the insurance. He's just informed the public. He's just informed all of these people that he's now writing a letter, and he's got it written, and it's going out today to the hospital that is going to strip the security of the special deputies at the hospital. Do you know how many shootings and crazy events they've had at the hospital? Now they're putting medical patients, EMS, doctors, nurses, just random staff at the hospital in danger because the sheriff's department no longer wants to allow them to have police powers and carry guns at the hospital. I don't know any hospital that does not have security. You're dealing with people going in there and drug-seeking behavior. I'm going to remind you of a little fact that a lot of people may not know. Back on July 31st, Muncie had a mass shooting event where we had a large party at Heakin, Willard, and Heakin, and it resulted in mass shootings. 17 people ended up going to the hospital. The shooting scene cleared out, and a large grouping of people like you wouldn't believe assembled at the hospital, and they started gang fights, and people were carrying on, and they called in backup from the state police, from Madison County, from Newcastle, from Henry County, from Winchester, Randolph County, from Hartford City, from Blackford County, from Jay County. Cops from I can't tell you how far around came to this. DEA agents, ATF people. They were calling in if you're a fireman and you have an axe or a hose, get down here. And that was at a hospital. So all it takes is one crazy pop-off event in Henry County to then drag all those people to the hospital and them not have any first-line cops there. That Sproles does not know his ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to law enforcement. I made the pledge, the promise, not a pledge. It was a promise to you people of Henry County. After I heard him on the Boss Hogs of Liberty in October of 2021, and I said, if you guys vote him in, he will hurt the law enforcement community first. He will hurt the elected officials and the other government entities of Henry County, and he will hurt the citizens. And I thought that might take 2 or 3 years. I didn't know he was going to do it in the first year. But he is literally talking about putting you guys in danger.
We give them full police powers when we have no control over their training or anything. And we're going to eliminate that. We've also greatly reduced the number of reserve officers. And so when you look at all of these, we've eliminated almost 100, you could say, officers that are, if they're to get into some kind of an issue, that's coming back on the county. So that's a huge reduction in the liability. I have talked much about vehicle liability, and we all know where that has gone. We have fully staffed the jail. The jail had ran about 7 to 8 full-time employees short, and why, I don't know. We fully staffed in January. We've been fully staffed since then. So that greatly reduces our liability, having 8 more full-time officers there. I just, I want people to understand that court notices can be filed all day long. And I'm not going to speak to any specific ones. This could be a blessing in disguise.
A blessing in disguise.
One thing that I found right off the bat with travelers is they just want to write a check and settle.
Listen to this.
That, in my
First of all, Yoko's got it. You don't need to get rid of 100. You just need to get rid of the right one. Ding, 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 ding. I don't know if that's like the comment of the year there. That's absolutely right. Okay. But now he's saying that this could be a blessing in disguise. The fact that the commissioners didn't shout out at him is insane.
Opinion, and I've talked to the Sheriff's Association about it. We feel very strongly in this matter that that type of stuff, it increases the desire for people to file frivolous lawsuits. The first suit that I was named in, we wanted to settle. Oh, let's just settle. We hadn't even talked about it.
John?
Yeah.
Get into it specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can appreciate where you're coming from, and I've had this conversation, parts of it with you, but what I understand with Josh's involvement and Joel's involvement, I don't want to cut you short, but I don't know that that we as a panel of 3 commissioners can do anything about it right now, but I appreciate your concern and I understand that. I just know we have to allow some things to take
No, I
place.
get it. I'm
And so-
fine. I'm fine on that. I wanted to say a couple other items that we are doing. We have paid a lot of money out of our own fund to hire a company called Lexipol to update our standard operating procedures, which some of them were operating on from
our
late
SOPs.
80s and early 90s. So that's a big step in limiting liability. We've also increased our training hour requirements for all corrections office staff.
Corrections
From
officer.
the minimum of 80 hours, which it has been, to we require 110 hours now of
Okay.
training. So there are many things, and I'll leave it at this. There are many things that we are working diligently on to reduce liability. I am very cognizant of liability, and I just want you all
It's your middle name. You should be.
to know that we are working in many, and I've got a list. I've got 50 items here. I won't take any more of your time, but I just want you all to know that we are working hard to reduce the liability for the county.
Thank you.
I just have a comment, and
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done with this, and we're going to get into Madison County and Muncie here in a minute, but this is very important. While Yoko might have had the comment of the night, which commissioner is talking to Sproles? Was that all right? No. So the commissioner that was telling him, I can appreciate that, I don't want to cut you off, that was Joel Wiley. That's his buddy, Joel Wiley. And then Joel was talking a little bit. Joel's the one that said John, like scolded him, John. And then Joel started talking. But, all right, here's what's getting ready to happen. Sproles just stopped. Now, Steve Dellinger, the one in the middle, he is getting ready to start talking. And ladies and gentlemen, he is getting ready to put Sproles in his place. Now, Sproles doesn't know it. It goes right over his head. It goes right in his ears and out the other because he just does not care, because he's narcissistic. He is completely power hungry, maniacal. He does not understand. He accepts no responsibility. He is not the bad guy here. It is everybody else. It's today's society. It can't be the fact that he wants to just shoot an inmate at point blank range with a 12 gauge shotgun with a beanbag projectile in it, which can absolutely kill you. It's not that he likes pulling over people when he is in plain clothes in an unmarked car. It's not that he likes to violate the First Amendment. It's not any of those problems. It's everybody else. Have any of you ever been in a bad relationship with a man that's beat you, or a woman that's beat you, or a drug addict or something like that? Folks, this is the behavior. Not being able to take any responsibility for his actions. He said, I've got a list here of 50 things that we're doing to other people. Why wasn't the first thing on the list is I'm taking some accountability for my misdeeds? You know how much that would have gone a long way for me, for the county, for people? You know how big that would have been? Do you know how big that would have been? But no, he can't do that. He does not have the capability to do that. All right, let's listen to, this is amazing. This is the best part.
And I appreciate what you're doing and to reduce that liability. But right now, from what I'm understanding from our carrier, is the special deputies weren't the problems. The cars really weren't as big an issue. The training, the staffing, and all the other stuff, my understanding is it's the tort claim stuff involving you directly.
Woo!
So the other stuff right now doesn't affect or hadn't affected the sheriff's department. It's basically solely on.
It's you, son.
On the actions or the responses to things that, from you. So I guess, I hope this helps. And I guess some of the things when you settle stuff, it's because it's cheaper than what it costs you in the long run.
Woo!
And this is county taxpayer money is what we're dealing with. So I guess I hope this works out, and you and Josh and Joel we can work something out and get a carrier that'll take care of us, because now the whole county's at risk of losing our insurance.
Right, because of my actions, because of tort claims that have been filed.
He was being a smartass when he said that. He wasn't admitting it. He's saying you're blaming it on me because of my actions. Now he's going to say it's not because of blah, 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 blah.
And you know, you could file a tort claim if you wanted to. I mean, so just, I want everybody to understand that these are claims that have been put out there, and they will have their due process. And it's amazing that you can be targeted.
It's the society we live in anymore.
Targeted. It's amazing. Hey, talk to Elvante Riddick about being targeted.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next up.
Talk to Elvante Riddick about being targeted. Talk to a man in a cell by himself, not hurting anyone. Talk to him about being targeted. Talk to Just Diane. Just Diane, she's on here. I don't know where she's at. Just Diane, she was targeted by Sproles for her First Amendment wrongdoing. I was targeted by Sproles for my First Amendment wrongdoing. I'm targeted by Sproles on a frequent basis because he doesn't like that I dare to speak out against him. How dare I speak out against him? Let's talk about that. He says anyone can file a lawsuit. He's right. They can. So why isn't everyone getting sued and only he is? That's a very good point. Why is he? I've not heard all of these crazy things going on with Captain Pierce or any of the other guys. I don't know any of the rest of the guys. I've not heard anything else. It's only been Sproles. Why wasn't Rick McCorkle sued and sued and sued and sued and sued and sued and sued? You know, it's him. It's this man right here. It's this man right here. If anyone can target anyone, maybe ask yourself why they are targeting you. Why is it solely you? Greensboro PD. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So that's a really big deal, folks. This is going to be a big deal. I know we got a lot of people watching. I am asking you guys in Henry County to please share this, spread the word on this, get this out there and spread that message. I'm going to continue watching this. A couple of other quick things before we move on to Madison County. I said that I when I heard this, I started getting into motion on this. I talked to a couple different folks. I talked to someone familiar with the insurance business. Now, I want to just put it on the record. I do not know Joshua Estel. I've never spoke with Joshua Estel. I did not speak with him today. He wouldn't know me if he saw me. He wouldn't know me if he heard me. I do not know him, and I don't know what the front of him even looks like. I just saw him on the back there. So it wasn't Josh Estel, and I believe from what I heard there that Josh is probably upstanding and probably would not tell me anything even if I ask. But I did talk to a couple folks that are familiar with law enforcement insurance, the insuring law enforcement, insuring municipalities. And what was said was, and I did talk to folks in the know, this is not an issue that it's like a specific number of lawsuits. It's a combination of how many lawsuits in what period of time and the severity of the lawsuit. Okay. That's what's at play here. And to be real honest, there's nothing that says that the insurance company hasn't heard that Sproles is basically racist, that he has done all of these other crazy things, and that he's He's really been a firestorm there, and he doesn't seem to be stopping. He picks fights with everybody, including other elected officials, other law enforcement agents, just people on the street. So there's a whole plethora of reasons why this is happening. The other scary thing that I'm hearing, folks, and I'm telling you people in Henry County this is very important for you people in Henry County. I know for a fact the filing period opened today. I have heard from my little bugs out there by contacting the election rooms and all of this. I have heard that the commissioners that are up for election this year are Bobby Plummer and Steve Dellinger. And both of them have either filed or in the process of filing. They are both going to run for re-election. And I have also heard that Sproles does not like the way that he's been treated by those two specifically, and he's going after them. He is right now doing his best to recruit people to run against them. He's saying that he's willing to bankroll them and whatever, and he's looking for people that can do high dollar amounts, because it's not about substance to Sproles. It's not about value to Sproles. It's not about doing good work to Sproles. It's about buying the election. Sproles is working on buying the election. Does the insurance company listen to this? I have no idea if they do or not. It's Travelers Insurance. If they are, you could sponsor us, and this would be great. That would be fantastic. So if someone from the whatever company, I don't even know what Estel actually is, but someone from his company or someone from Travelers Insurance wants to sponsor us, hit us up. No, it's very important that you people out there listen. If or when we find out who the candidates are that Sproles is lining up against Bobby and lining up against Dellinger, hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm all for lots of people running, and I'm all for a good election. But I'm telling you, when the shit hits the fan and we find out that there are Sproles-backed candidates, you can't vote for him, because he don't need 3 commissioners. He just needs 1. He just needs 1. Because he's already got Joel. He's already got Joel. All he needs is 1 more commissioner. 1 more commissioner. Randy Howard called Steve Dellinger and asked if he had a problem running against him. I'm not going to say anything about that. I'll just leave that at that. That's interesting. I would welcome that race. I would welcome that race. And I want to be real clear. I originally did not like Dellinger or Bobby. I used to rail against them hard because I think that they did some crazy stuff in the beginning. But they got their balance. They figured it out, and they leveled the ship. And now they've been doing a hell of a job. I think Joel's kind of just there to just be there, but whatever. You know, it's kind of the icing, the cherry on the top of a long public safety career. That's all this is. But Dellinger and Bobby are really doing good work, and they need to be reelected over anyone Sproles would back. If there's another good candidate, okay, so be it. May the best man or woman win, but it can't be a Sproles candidate, because it's scary. It's scary, folks. Scary, scary, scary if you get more people. And the mayor of Muncie says, let's not forget about the possibility of a federal indictment. And that's very true too, folks. I think everybody's forgot about what he did to Marquette Neal. The FBI works like molasses drips. So we'll all be sleeping one day, and they'll come in and they'll take him out in handcuffs because they have indicted him. And we'll be like, whoa, what? Now, that probably wouldn't happen until what would be a second term, but I don't want him to have a second term. I want to beat him when he runs for re-election, or I want to push him to resign. He needs to resign. For this alone, he needs to resign. I'm calling for him to resign. I hear that's not the only position he's trying to get someone to run in. I've heard another political position he talked someone into running to get the current person out. Now, I have heard that he's got someone that's either is going to run for coroner or might run for coroner. I don't know if that's true or not. I think he doesn't like the coroner because the coroner keeps him in check. And I know he's not happy with the council. Remember, Joel was fired by Eddie and then had to be rehired because their best lawyer was arrested for dealing drugs. That is very true. That is absolutely true. Right now, Steve and Bobby are the only checks and balances to Sproles nonsense. That is also very true. They stop his crap. If he gets Bobby out, or if he gets Dellinger out for someone that he likes, you guys are done for down there. Thank God I don't live in Henry County. I'll put it to you like this. I will say it like that. All right. We are moving along from Henry County. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do just a quick run through Madison County, because they had something go on yesterday, and it's quite crazy what they had going on down there. I was there for it, and it was quite crazy. I'm going to give you just a couple brief. This is going to be real short. I want to give you a couple brief. Just a brief run through, because we're going to actually have a special show all about this on Friday. Okay. On Friday, you're going to want to tune in here at the same time, but just a different day. We're normally not here on Fridays. You guys are like, yeah, right. You've only not been here for like 3 weeks. Well, you're normally here on Friday. I'm going to normally start taking Fridays off, but this Friday, we're here for a special show. It's going to be all Madison County all night long as we dissect what goes on with this meeting. But I want you guys to hear a couple parts. I want you guys to hear this gentleman second from Mr. Clean, okay? You got Mr. Clean looking down. That's Emery, all right? Anthony Emery, retired trooper. Okay, then you've got Michael Jackson, or Michael Vaughn is the man in purple down here. Okay, he's getting ready to have he's talking, and I quickly dissected this man and got him. I think he wants to be the smartest man in the room, and he tries to prove that as much as possible. And in doing so, he has a backhanded way of saying the citizens are stupid. This is an elected official sitting there making the decisions, and he talks about the citizens of Madison County being not intelligent, being dumb, being stupid. Now, I want you guys to hear this. All right, he says it at 2. We're just going to listen to everything that goes on Friday, but listen to this.
Surveillance and prevention, vital records. 60% of the funds can be spent on these preventive services. The other 40% of funding, food protection, environmental public health, tobacco, body piercing, eyelash safety, and sanitation.
Stephanie, would you be in favor of, if this goes on with public comment, or to be open? Because I think some people are very, I don't want to take away intelligence, but I know you have a lot of information to get.
He said, would you be opposed to public comment? He said, there's some people, I don't want to say like take away intelligence, but there's a lot of information here. Now, listen, to my knowledge, he's not an attorney. To my knowledge, I don't know what his higher education level is. I assume he can read. I assume, anybody in there can read. If anybody is capable of reading, they're capable of having the same level of understanding that he has. Anybody that has the internet can look up the same information that he has. Anyone that has a phone can call the same state senators that he has. Counselor Vaughn is not smarter than anyone else there simply because he is a public servant, and he needs to apologize for that comment. Now, I know in the past, he and the auditor and he and other officials have taken barbs. And if he wants to stand up there and scour other elected officials and call them idiots, whatever, I'm applauding right along with you. But when you're talking about your bosses, just do me a favor. Go to McDonald's, Mr. Vaughn, and apply. Get a job tossing the fries, and then call your boss an idiot and see how long you get to toss that boss's fries, all right? I don't think that'll work very long. And that's exactly what you did here last night. I wish more of the audience would have, like, gasped and, like, ran him out with pitchforks, but I think he does owe an apology to the people. It's very, very, very crazy. And so the next part here, and I want to show you this, and this is very, very highly crazy too. There is a point where the counselors are now talking. They've went into council discussion, and Counselor Bethany Keller has been talking and giving some comments, and she asks some questions. And the woman at the podium, which is the health director, the director of the health department, she's there and she's speaking. And then it goes back to Bethany, and Bethany's trying to talk. And the president actually pulls his little hammer out and he gavels a fellow counselor down. Completely unheard of. Like, that should have happened to Rose Selvey. It should not have happened to Bethany Keller, because it just was not, it was not the same level of, it was just completely insane. And I want you to see this here.
Replaces that. So we already started that work with the money that we already had. So this money is just taking what we're already doing and expanding it, making it better. Respectfully, I get your concerns, I do, but you know what? I've dedicated my entire life to public health, and I want people to be healthy. Look, our county is in such poor shape, and this $1.5 million is a really big deal, and it is just the first step to making our county healthier. Can I help?
And she paused. Now Bethany Keller's talking.
It's not up to the government. We have statistics. If you look at the Health First website, you look at the county, and it's got
Councilwoman Keller, please don't interrupt. Let her finish her statement, and then you'll have time to make yours.
But she's a councilman.
We invite.
I thought we were in counselor deliberations. Per Robert's Rules of Order, this is discussion for the council, and it was Ben Gale, the president there, that said just 2 hours before this that he wanted to really stick hard to Robert's Rules of Order. Well, sir, you just screwed up right there. And there's a lot of other issues throughout this meeting. There was 2:15. I want this to be heard here real quick. And I'm going to put this out on the record, and then we're going to move on to Muncie. And we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. Okay, listen to this wonderful presentation.
My name is Kristopher Bilbrey, and I just want to caution you guys and the public, just to be very clear, that when citizens come up to speak, they do not, for any reason, have to give an address to be heard.
Amen.
So just be very cautious. You guys have said that beforehand. I wasn't going to speak, but I just want to be very clear. The Constitution, the Indiana Constitution, state law has been very clear. Speakers do not have to give address to be heard or to address you guys. They don't have to give their name. They can do so if they so choose, but you cannot request that. So,
Okay, first of all, that's not on the topic.
it is, because you asked for people to give their
No,
address before.
right now we're discussing the Health First Fund. So
Okay.
if you have comments to the Health First Fund.
Well, my comments are over. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Now, I don't know what this Aaron Clark weird dude is doing here. Like, tell me Aaron Clark does not have a doppelganger and that this is Aaron Clark. And I don't know what, like, Emery, like, apparently didn't like that little talk there. And Emery watches the show from time to time. Emery, are you watching? Dude, like, it's interesting back when we were communicating, all of you, and you all liked my sassiness and whatnot, but now that you're getting a taste of it, you don't seem to like it. I don't really understand what the issue is here. It's just really interesting. And you know, what's funny to me is I left the podium, but I didn't leave the room. And Ben Gale didn't choose to say anything. Listen.
Next.
He said next. He didn't tell me I was wrong. What he did, like the true coward that he's apparently shaping up to be, he waited until I left. He waited until I left to then address this issue in a wrong manner. And I want you to listen to this.
I haven't signed up, but I would like to come. Go ahead. Yeah, it's sometimes hard with a large crowd to see it, so. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. King.
Thank you, David King, Director of Community Corrections.
To address a comment that was made earlier, under public comments, it is actually quite a common practice to ask people where they live. And we've actually had our...
It doesn't matter if it's quite a common practice. Listen, it was quite a common practice for Ted Bundy to kill his dates. Does that mean that we can all just kill our dates? I don't think that common practice crap works, okay? And just because it's common practice does not mean that it's right. I'll let him go on a little bit longer.
Legal counsel review that and tell us that's okay.
He talked to his Aaron Clark lookalike legal counsel, and he said it was okay. So a man that's getting paid by the county said, yeah, you guys are okay.
Just want to make sure we, as a council, understand that that's not any kind of a legal issue.
I want to make sure that the council understands that's not any kind of legal issue. This weird that he would say this. I don't know what that means. It's not a legal issue that you say, hey, public, we would like for you to give your address. It's not a problem for you to say that. Here's where it becomes a problem. If a citizen wants to stand up and talk, and they get up to the podium and they say, I just want to tell you guys blah, 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 blah. And the council says, wait a minute, please give us your name and address. And they say, I would rather not. If the council lets them speak, it's okay. But if the council says, well, no, you've got to do that, that's when it becomes the problem. And I'm going to tell you guys why here in just a second.
The benefit, in case anyone is asking or in case anyone's wondering why, is it's nice if we're voting on something to know if someone's a member of our community and what part of the county they are from.
It is nice to know that. It is nice to know that. But a man from Seattle could drive there and talk to you, and you could not stop him. So is he saying that he's willing to stop someone from talking because they, I don't understand why that's got anything to do. Is he going to violate someone's First Amendment right because of an address?
So since that is the policy that was passed by the county council.
Since that's a policy, and now a policy is not law. He didn't even say an ordinance. Okay. He didn't say a resolution is not law. He didn't say an ordinance, and they can't pass an ordinance because an ordinance can't trump state and federal law. Okay, so he's getting ready to say something really stupid here.
Say, as we open this up for public comment, I would ask you to come up, state your name and where you live, and we'll keep the comments to 3 minutes.
I would ask you to give your name and state where you live. Great. I'm going to teach Ben Gale a lesson, and I'm going to teach it to him real quickly, that he's going to have to say that each and every time, but when he gets done saying that, he needs to also add, but it's okay if you don't want to. And the reason I say that is, at 8:30 this morning, I contacted Luke Britt, who's the public access counselor for the state of Indiana. He's the guy that makes all the rulings on this. And he said, you do not have to give your name and or address to speak. There is one meeting in all of Indiana where you have to give your name and address to speak. That is a township advisory board meeting. And the reason being is township trustees have the power to hand out money, cash money, to citizens. And so to do that, when you're going there and you're asking for assistance, They have to know that you actually reside in the township. So Luke Britt said, the guy that you're fighting, is he on an advisory township trustee board? I said, nope, he's a county councilor. He said, okay, he can ask you, but you can deny, and they can't stop you from talking. So, listen, this is where I always say it's the floor, not the ceiling. The law is the floor, not the ceiling. It's where you start. It's not where you end. It's the beginning. It's the just good enough. Now, if you guys want your elected officials to do just good enough, then keep electing these fools. But if you're not okay with that, send these guys packing. We're going to talk about this on Friday. Catherine's going to be joining the show on Friday. She's here in the comments. You guys have been talking to her all night. If you've got anything else to say, you can contact her. Of course, you can watch this whole live feed on her wall, Catherine Callahan. You can also watch it on my Facebook. For those of you that want to see more, maybe we will dive into this further on Friday. I think we're going to possibly have some other special guests that hopefully will be joining us. I hope. I really think if we can get some of these people on, it would be a really big thing. And folks, we've got lots of crap to talk about. And some things I'm going to praise him for, and some things I'm going to kick him for, and some things I'm going to praise Bethany Keller for, and Norick for, and some things I'm going to kick Norick for. So we're going to be fair across the board, folks. We're going to be fair across the board. All right, that's very, very important. So if you want to watch that, that's Friday at 9. Okay, now moving on from there, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be moving into the city of Muncie. And I want to just let you guys know that we're almost done, folks. I know, hang in there with me a little bit longer. We're going to get you guys. Oh, hell, it's only 1:28. I thought we were easily at 2 hours. All right, we're going to keep you all night. No, we're almost done, folks. I said I didn't want this to be a long show. So I've been doing pretty good time-wise, actually. I'm really impressed with myself. I've actually kept way on target and everything. We're moving in right now to the Board of Works meeting in the city of Muncie. I know everybody still wants to talk about Roe Selvey doing the Roe freakout. And look, folks, I honestly cannot tell you what in the hell Roe Selvey was doing the other night. Okay. But I do want to tell you, that if you want to see this entire deal, you don't have to go through the entire council meeting. You can watch it in an actual video that I put out called The Muncie City Row Show. And it's her making all of those faces and doing all of that weirdness while she's literally saying the most unconservative and the most crazy non-Republican type things ever. She says nobody would have known about it. We would have spent the money and moved on. She says it'll hit them in the pocket for the better. I mean, I've never, when I've been hit in the pocket, it's not been for the better. Quit thinking about money. We spend that like crazy. It's nuts. All of a sudden tonight, everyone wants to be responsible, financially responsible. Get over it. Spending $8 million. If we look for the last couple of years, we've been spending money. So, like, dude, I don't understand these people. They don't understand that there are consequences to the words they say, to their actions. They have, they're liable to be taken as crackpots and to ruin crap for their county. Moving into another section of bizarro government, we're going to look now to the Board of Works for the city of Muncie. All right. We're going to see how many millions of dollars they're going to pass in 8 minutes. You want to see something crazy? Let's see how much money we can spend in 8 minutes. And go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the January 10th meeting of the Muncie Board of Public Works and Safety. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
Oh,
to the
look,
flag
Lola
of
Maurer's
the
not
United
there.
States
Go
of
figure.
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
At
justice
this rate,
for
Muncie
all.
will be broke by April.
Thank you very much. Lacey, could we have roll call, please?
Ted Baker,
Present.
Lola Maurer, Linda Gregory.
Present.
We've been given the minutes of the last meeting on January 3rd. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I move approval of the minutes for January 3.
Okay. I would second it. Do any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. As always, Lacey does a fine, excellent job. So thanks, Lacey. We have next the consideration.
Pause. Wait. What law? John, please tell me what law you want me to state, and I will gladly do so.
Of the Register of Claims presented by the City Controller, Craig Wright.
All right. Here's where we're going to spend the money.
Sent out the claims yesterday afternoon. Being the first of the year, it was quite lengthy, 36 pages total. We did do a second run last week at the end of the week for utilities, which I noted in there, and that was total of $7,528.80. This is the week also we had the Indiana Michigan Power for like traffic signals and street lights. We had some ARP funds that were listed on the claims this week, and our usual health care and general liability and workers' comp claims. And with that, I'll just open it up to any questions.
Okay. Linda?
I don't have any questions.
Of
This
course.
was a credit card run, and for the most part, the descriptions were pretty adequate. Other than that, I really don't have any.
Okay. I don't either. All is pretty well in order, and we appreciate the timeliness and the accuracy of the reporting. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. And Lola sent me an email, had a question on a building as far as at the Ball State, and that was for deposit for the state of the city address that the mayor sent in.
Okay. Thank you for taking care of that.
Why are we paying to make it a big hoopla for the city to give the state of the city address? Why is he not doing it from that podium? Why is he not doing it from the city hall? We don't need to be paying money. That's insane. He wants to look pretty.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the
I move
claims?
I move approval of the claims for $2,784,629.
Okay. I would second that. Do we have any comments or questions?
Can you back it up and play that number again?
Hold on. Yeah.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
All right, right there. Okay, 3:21. So they started talking to Craig at 1 minute and 27 seconds. Okay, so 2:27. 3:27 would have been 2 minutes. So it just under 2 minutes. In just under 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, they spent or approved the expenditure of $2,784,629.63. They spent, this is how much they spent or approved in just under 2 minutes. with no questions, with no thought. Look, they maybe had some thought. They maybe had some thought about it, but hell, they just got it yesterday. All right? Now, citizens weren't there. Citizens weren't there because this meeting's held at 9 a.m. I asked Ted last week if he's ever watched a Board of Works meeting from a city that's comparable to Muncie, some bigger, some smaller. So, like, for example, Fort Wayne on the bigger side, Bloomington, Marion, Kokomo, yada, yada, yada. Because their Board of Works meetings last an hour, last 2 hours. They're in the evenings. Muncie's Board of Works meetings last 8 minutes, and they're in the daytime. Now, generally, that's where we would stop. The meeting would basically be over now. I do want to show you this in all fairness. They do have another 5 minutes to this meeting, and we do talk about some kind of interesting things here. We'll let them go now.
We have no unfinished business, but we do have some new business with the Kitzelman Phase 3 supplemental agreement for HWC Engineering. Mr. Adam Leach, City Engineer.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Morning, Adam.
Good morning. So in front of you here of the Kitzelman Phase 3 supplemental agreement, this is an addition to their contract of about $70,000. You should have a total there on the summary sheet. We also provided you a copy of the supplemental agreement. This is for a little bit of structural work for some retaining walls, some geotech work that went along with that, some additional design, environmental that went with expanding a parking lot on behalf of a design committee that no longer meets. So it's kind of just a cleanup item. This is a 80-20 match. We did get this approved through the MPO, so basically they have no problem paying for their 80% of it. So it's all reimbursement. So they'll send us a bill and we'll send bill back to them for 80% of whatever we paid. Pretty straightforward, but there it is.
Okay. Have any comments or questions?
No.
We have a motion to approve this claim.
I move approval of the supplemental agreement with HWC Engineering.
I would second it. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Thank you for bringing this up.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Do we have any other business? Looks like we do. Mayor Ridenour, good morning.
Listen to this.
Good morning. Good morning. It is not on the agenda, but it's also something that doesn't necessarily need your action, but I just want to do this in a transparent way. So,
no transparent way. Now, the only reason he's doing this in a transparent way is because it makes him look good.
With the former Justice Center, it did require us starting in 2024 to pay for parking for first floor. We've had a situation where we thought there was an initial need. That need was handled by the company that was looking at getting the parking spaces. And so they would like to do apartments on that first floor instead of parking, which we're 100% in favor of. They would add 15 additional apartments. Most of the second and third floor units, it's actually second units that have an upstairs to them. So there's not really a third floor. Most of those are finished or very close to finish and should get some occupancy soon. But if they're going to do first floor apartments, they're not going to rent those until some of that first floor work is done because of the construction noise, and utilities will probably need to be shut off as they put in 15 different electrical systems. So this does put some time limits on them, has some clawbacks to it. There is we are planning on helping them with some infrastructure, but it's small and it's pretty tight window for them. But it does relieve us of having to pay what was $30,888 per year for 15 years. So it relieves the city of that component.
That's nice of you, Dan.
And so just wanted to let you know that that's happening.
How much is this infrastructure going to cost us now? We're already giving them 1.4 million.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
What's another 100,000? Come
Yeah.
on. Oh, I'm sorry. We
So-
were up to 1.5 with that money that they paid for the facade shit. I'm
That's
sorry.
right. That's right.
1.5 million.
That's right. And so
Sorry,
we're not
my
having to
birthday
pay
brownies
the
throwing stuff in my face.
38,000. Oh, you're fine. We're not having to pay the 30 some thousand for like years, which is a good thing. But how much are we paying? You know, so I want to give him credit. We're not having to pay for some nonsense bullshit parking deal that he approved that nobody else knew about. Okay. That's good. But Alicia, they all suck. And I don't know where you said you live, but I'm pretty sure they probably suck in your neck of the woods too if people were really looking and diving into it.
Utah,
I'm sure they suck there too. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. One of these days we'll have a slow period. And are you new here, or have you just started popping around, or what's the deal? I mean, you don't have to answer that if you don't want, but I would like to talk about that when on a slow day, if we ever get a slow day. Well, thank you for being new here, and we hope that you continue watching as we get into the year, this presidential election. We'll be talking about some national stuff too, and trying to do what we can there as well. Yeah, Julie, look how much weight Dan has lost. He's lost a lot of weight since the first time he ran. I don't know what he's got going on there. Started following Civic Duty. Yeah, okay. And I no longer follow him. That's probably for the best. But welcome here. We are I've been doing this for a very long time. And I promise I'm not a pedophile. So that's always there
But
too.
I just wanted to do it in a transparent way that we've adjusted the old agreement from 21 to now have first floor apartments, because that was not mentioned in the old agreement.
So that's real positive.
Yes, it is. 15 more apartments downtown.
And do we have adequate parking? I mean, we wanted that.
They're going to keep it so people will be able to drive in the first floor entrance and park in front of, they'll have indoor parking
Park right in
for
front of
all
their
15 units.
Like,
So,
and the city won't need that
I
parking
don't
anymore,
understand
right?
what they're going to do.
well, we're going to still retain our parking until 2053
Okay.
for all the covered outdoor spaces that
Gotcha.
city employees use.
Okay, very good.
So, and it states that in this agreement that goes to 2053.
Shit, Alva.
Great. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other points of business?
Yeah,
Okay. Having none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned. Mayor Munis. So that's the end of that nonsense. Now we will just briefly go into his ever amazing community update, which is 3 minutes and 31 seconds of wonderfulness.
Is Wednesday. It is January 10th, 2024.
He's back to not using his big boy voice.
Start by saying Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a great holiday season. We're really looking forward to some continued growth and continuing that momentum here into 2024. A couple things I want to talk to you about. First of all, last year, toward the end of the year, LIABILITY listed Muncie as one of the top 6 cities in Indiana in which to live. The article listed our affordability, our quality of life, and our arts culture. So congratulations to Muncie. We're one of the top 6 cities to live in the state of Indiana. This Monday is a holiday. It is
She is a badass, and you're welcome here anytime.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The City Hall will be closed, but there are some events I want you to be aware of.
We do love
we would
Black
encourage
Lives Matter.
everyone to please attend the free breakfast. It's a community breakfast. It's at 9 a.m. It's at the Ball State Student Center on University. The theme this year is Unity.
No, don't do that to Mr. Rogers. Kate, you're fired for that. Mr. Rogers is awesome.
But the
I know
the tenor of his voice.
Yeah.
Reminds me very much of Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was a badass, by the way. This guy's a freaking pussy. Sorry.
You're fine. I'm
trying to curb the F-bombs. Trying.
I really thought for a second we were going to be the top 6 in the world, comparable to our Derek. That one time he says, he was like, we've got so many different people here. We're the largest arts community in the world. And I'm like, what? Tell that to like France. Tell that to like Seattle, like or I mean Austin, Texas. he's Cindy.
In times like these. So if you're available, please come out. It's a free breakfast. We'd love to have you. Also want to remind everybody that our public...
That's the message of the city of Muncie. Everyone needs to come out. And right now, the city of Muncie.
Our public works team is still very busy during the winter, and we are getting some new equipment so that this will improve our patching in the cold winter months. So we're getting a crack sealer so that we can extend the lifespan of our roads. But we're also with our new patching equipment. It's different than the cold patch that we've been used in the past. Now, it doesn't mean we won't use cold patch in some situations, but because we don't have, we have one of these machines coming, but it puts down a different seal. And we know that it will improve the quality of the patching for those potholes. Please report those potholes, if you would, on the City of Muncie website, muncie.in.gov, and go to report it in street department, and you can tell us if you see a pothole, let us know. It creates a work order.
Also,
and then immediately, for
those of you in the city of Muncie that do not know that, for those of you, well, for everywhere, you can also visit. I want to show you this. I want anyone that is. I'm going to show you right now. And it's going to be hard to see, but you see my Google page right here. All right, I'm going to show you. There is a nice website. Okay, I'm going to blow this up so you guys can see, because he just was telling people that if you see a hole, you can go and fill it. I want to show you what you can do. You can go to Google and you can type in dansholes.com, dansholes.com, and hit enter, and it will take you to where you need to go to report potholes in the city of Muncie. So they were very proactive here. You can go to dansholes.com and report it. And I swear to God, it's a real site that takes you to where you can report the potholes in the city of Muncie. Back to the mayor.
We will get on it. The next morning, they get that as a work order for the team. Also know that the snow removal team is ready, willing, and able when those situations come up. It's been pretty mild. December was pretty mild, but we're ready. We have the salt, we have the trucks, we've got the CDL drivers. We're ready to go. We hope that there's not a whole lot of snow now that the holidays are over, quite frankly, but when it comes, we'll be ready. So just know that that's the case. And I'm going to go ahead and shorten this particular update today because the state is in town today. This morning, actually, I'm leaving immediately after this video. And I'm on a panel, and it's about Ready 1.0 and Ready 2.0. So I will be on a panel with some representatives from Henry County, Jay County, and Blackford County. And we'll be talking about the Ready 2.0 process, what our projects are, what we're doing as a region here in East Central Indiana. And so we know it's important as we work toward getting those grants in April-ish of 2024. So hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you next week.
That's the other very, very disheartening thing And,
A man's dash.
and obviously, oh man, obviously, shut up. Obviously, we were made aware of this a while back through through the appointments, but I do just want to show this just briefly.
Good morning. Welcome to the January 10th, 2024.
I will inform you here is your candidate that will be running against James King. Here is a candidate. There very likely could be more. I know that D.W. Williams is saying that he's, I think, I don't know.
You could not have opened that up on a better frozen screen of his face.
I know.
It looks like he's like getting ready to, you know, pleasure the mayor. Was it just me?
I don't know what was going on there. It was a very bad pause.
Yeah. Actually, I thought it was a perfect pause. But...
Sometimes you don't get to choose the pause screens.
Yeah.
Commissioners meeting for the Muncie Sanitary District. I hope everyone's well. Happy New Year to everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask if you'll rise and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
We see Aaron Clark is still getting paid in a non-elected position here.
Thank you for that. Excused absences, there are none. We do have a new commissioner on the board today. Aaron Clark was recently appointed by the mayor. Aaron, would you like to introduce yourself and say a few things?
Yeah, great. Aaron Clark, born and raised here in Muncie. I got to serve, the privilege to serve on Muncie City Council the last 4 years. A little bit of construction background. I'm a graduate of Ball State University in the construction management trade. I'm an electrician, journeyman electrician by trade, and I look forward to working with the district, working with this board, and being active in projects and helping out any way that I can.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. So as we have a quorum, we'll move on with our agenda as published. The consideration of the December 13th minutes. Remember,
do we know Jackie who he replaced? Do we know who he replaced? Thank you, Alicia. I don't know. So no, Clark isn't on the council anymore. He got beat. Dale Basham. Dale Basham replaced him. So he got beat and he's no longer on the council, but he is on this board and they do get paid for this board. I know. He gave it. I've not got to watch that, so I'm going to try to watch that after this. But he did give that, and Holcomb is horrible. I decided last night that I know who Holcomb's parents are. Holcomb is the illegitimate love child of Klaus Schwab. Charles Schwab. He's the illegitimate love child of Klaus Schwab and Eli Lilly. So I was like, oh, I don't know why that didn't come to my opinion. I don't know why I didn't realize that, but I'm gonna have to watch that State of the State. That's horrible. It'll give me nightmares, but I will watch it. So I will have to watch that. I don't know who Aaron replaced. We're not going to watch this, folks. I have not watched this State of the Muncie Sanitary District either. I will watch it. And if there's anything we need to talk about, we will watch it. I generally don't watch the sanitary district meetings unless someone points out something crazy. I do about once a month go through their minutes and look, but unless someone says, hey, you need to watch this, I let the boys play amongst themselves and wait for one of you to point something out. So that is on the City of Muncie's Facebook page. If you guys want to watch it, you are more than welcome. We are getting ready to shut this down. We are now just going a little long as I realized that we were doing well with time. Then I just all of a sudden went crazy with it, and it went gone. It went crazy. I know I saw I saw that thing that's going on with you, Alva, and your governor trying to change up how you guys do primary elections, and that's a pretty crazy deal. I'll have to send you a text. We'll have to talk about that. That's very interesting. So just to end this, I want to let you guys know a couple things. Number one, the tax abatement meeting was going on yesterday. Let me pull up my notes here. The tax abatement committee meeting was yesterday. This was the big committee meeting that they were going to have that was going to give them information so that they can take it back to the council and decide if they want to keep the tax abatement in place for the solar project up in the Gaston area, or if they wanted to work on rescinding that tax abatement. It is the belief of one of the council members, Ryan Webb, who's been fighting against this for a very long time now. He did admit that he voted for the solar project. He voted for the tax abatement, but he did so, and he said he did that because he was given misleading information, and there was a lot of things that were wrong, and that they were provided false numbers, that the numbers, changed, and the Baker Tilly got called out for it, and they kind of ate that crap and said, yeah, we screwed up. And there was a whole lot of craziness going on. And so throughout all of this process for the last year, Ryan Webb has been pushing to rescind that tax abatement. They kept telling him, wait till the end of the meeting happens. Wait till the committee that we put together of the 4 people that are for it, 4 people that are against it, and 4 people that are neutral. Well, after those people put together an ordinance, the commissioners basically just gutted that ordinance and did something completely different. That being said, the council still has the ability to do whatever. Now, the council was being told that there is no mechanism. Take 2. There is no mechanism in place for them to be able to rescind the tax abatement. Let me tell you, that is not right. So let me tell you what happened at yesterday's meeting. The meeting went very well. Councilor Bill Hughes had a $150-page packet that he shared with the committee. Baker Tilly and Brad Bookout were there to answer questions, and there was roughly about 30 to 35 people in the audience. A couple of really important key items come to light in yesterday's meeting, not least of which is that there is no legal precedent in Indiana that says that the county council cannot rescind a tax abatement. This came forward and was told to the committee yesterday. Since the council has the authority to grant the abatement, they also have the authority, like I said, since day one, to rescind it. That's just common sense. Nothing in government can't be undone. It also came to light, and this is very big. It also came to light that Meadow Forge and Hawthorne are now considered utility companies. Interesting. By the state as of January 2022. And so property assessments will come from the state and not locally. That's interesting. It was also shared that because they are utility companies now, that they are on an accelerated depreciation schedule for the investment. All right. So the 155 million will be depreciated to 30% of that number within 3 years. As the floor in any year beyond that, hold on, I don't know what I'm saying. It remain will depreciate to 30% of that number in 3 years. It will remain at 30%, 30% as the floor in the years beyond that, but the equipment value depreciates at a much higher rate than anyone realized. No way. I heard some people saying that. So that's real too. Meaning that when they are receiving the highest abatement amount, 100%, 90%, and 80% in years 1, 2, and 3, their equipment is depreciating much faster.
So they granted the tax abatement that it was supposed to be at this level.
Yeah.
And this was going to be the revenue coming in.
Yeah.
Now we find out that it's actually 30% lower than that they're abating.
Yeah.
And over the same period of time, and that the equipment is going to be down here.
Yeah.
So what they were abating, the amounts are significantly different, and the abatement may not be sustainable.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Oh.
Listen to this.
Did they do anything? Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Come back up here. Listen, all in all, the company did not need the abatement.
Oh, no.
Anyways, that will be debated at the next county council meeting, which will be Tuesday, January 23rd. No one was allowed to speak except Brad Bookout and Baker Tilly. The meeting went fine. The Meadow lawyer was there. Didn't seem too happy. Seemed like she was crying like normal, as well as some of the project people, but a lot of concerned citizens against this were there. So the tax abatement was really, really interesting.
Can you remind me when they voted in that tax abatement, please?
In Ryan's first year. So this is his last year.
So in 2021?
2021. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know that it would be fraud, because at that time, that was the understanding, and then the state changed how they looked at that company to a utility.
No, listen. The state changed that, went into effect in January of 2022. When did that change?
Oh, shit. They would have voted that in 2021.
Yeah. When did that change occur? I mean, and you can't tell me that those companies.
Did they do a fall session in 2021?
I don't know if they did a fall session. I don't believe they did.
I don't think they did in 2021.
I don't believe they did.
They did in 2020.
They did in 2020, but I don't believe they normally don't. I don't believe they did.
So that would have been passed at the beginning of the year, so they knew it was coming. So
well, that would be
they quoted to the county as, this is the amount you're going to be abating, and this is the amount in tax revenue you'll be getting as the abatement comes off. That was a lie.
I don't want to go that far. Say it could very well be.
It could very well have been a lie
Yeah.
and fraud
Yeah.
if it was a lie, depending on when it was voted by the council and when the state voted to change their classification.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So this meeting on the 23rd will be a big meeting. I'm going to be reaching out to the counselors and finding out, what their thoughts are on this, and it'll be big. So I wanted to give everybody that update. This is the kind of the ending notes of the meeting. Again, I want to remind everybody that the filing period is open now to run for office. It will be open until 12 p.m. noon on Friday, February 9th, 2024. I am going to I don't know do we know when the next Winchester City Council meeting is? It wasn't yesterday, huh?
It should be Monday. Next week.
Okay.
It should be the 16th. They canceled the first one.
Yeah.
There's a big surprise.
So the other big news I want to put out is we have a big guest coming on Monday night. I might try to go to the council meeting, but it can't get into a bunch of craziness, and I couldn't stay. I mean, they get out pretty early, and I would have enough time to get home. We have a big show coming up. We got a big show coming up tomorrow. It's the end of the show for the week, except then we have a bonus show on Friday. And then we've got a big show on Monday. A big show on Monday. So I will try to go to the meeting. If there's ever meetings I can't go, I'll see what we can do. There might be in time, very well possible in time, maybe a very surprising person could be doing that, but I will try to follow up with that and let you guys know and see if I can. I'll see what goes on. Sounds like a no-brainer that there's no longer a need for the tax abatement on the Delaware County solar farms. Ding, 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 ding. I know, right? Like, are you for real? Like, doesn't that seem like, hopefully the county sees it that way. I know Ryan Webb. Ryan Webb right now is on a cruise, so he's out of the country. So he doesn't know this information, but he's going to flip shit when he comes back. So that'll be interesting. And hopefully some of the other ones like Whitehead and Kantz will do the right thing. We need 4 of them. We need 4 counselors to do the right thing. Ryan Webb is already going to vote for it. I guarantee you. He's already done. So we need 3 more counselors to do the right thing. So, all right. That's enough of that. We got through a lot tonight. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time it is Utah time. Hey, Alicia, what time is it in Utah right now? I know what time it is in Louisiana. I know what time it is in Scotland. I know what time it is in Italy. Hey, what? Alva. Man, I wrote it down. Happy birthday, you bastard. Happy birthday. Everyone say happy birthday to Alva. I feel like we should probably sing a song. Happy birthday to Alva. Man, I wrote it down and I didn't even, because I wasn't here last night. That makes me feel like absolute shit. Well, I'm glad that it was a good show. I'm glad that you're here, Alva. You're one of the best. Very much love you. I'll send you a text, man. Thank you very much. Yes. So it's 9:13. It's 11:13 here. So 10:13, 8:13, 9:13. So, okay. So it's 7 o'clock when we go live. So, all right. Well, what time do you guys have there? Are you on Mountain Time in Utah? that Mountain Time? It's East Coast here. Or we're Eastern here. Oh yeah, all right. So Utah's Mountain Time. So it's like 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain Time. I don't even. We got somebody that watches from Alaska, and like it's crazy there. So insane. All right, folks. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great, wonderful rest of your birthday, Alva. And to hell with that. Keep that snow over there. That's ridiculous. We don't need any snow or any cold. All right, you guys, take care. God bless. Have a good night. We will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.